I'm muted again. Hey, thank you, Tarkus, too. I think I had to get up and somehow bumped it. Oh, so I've been talking about everything. So I've been painting. I was saying I was working on Penny Parker, working on her face and hands. She's a little dark. And then here I was working on Spider-Punk. I decided to do a, man, that is hilarious that I screwed up the audio. I decided to try to go for a sunburst finish, which worked out pretty good. And because he's red, right? The guitar that they have in their paint job, I mean, you can do whatever you want, right? I painted this to be like what Big Child Creatives did with their Mini, and but I thought the guitar was too close, so I decided to try to go for a sunburst, and I used I was using the Pro Acryl Medium. And I could have just used the Lamian medium. I actually have Lamian medium as well. They're the same idea. But it didn't dry. If you notice, I don't know if you can see the shine, but it's not very shiny on the parts that actually did that. So potentially I did that too soon. And you know, like, cause I know it takes longer when you have medium for it to dry, and Lamian medium really takes a long time. At least in my experience, right, compared to other things. But so I was very happy how it turned out. I was saying earlier, I don't think I got the base of varnished. I varnished the rest, so I used a ultra matte and a matte, and then a gloss. And my gloss is ancient. It's a polyacryl or no? Polyscale, which is an old, I think. It says RPM, and I think they also do, gosh, what was the other one that they do? Testers? Yeah, Tester Corporation. Nah, that's old. This is 2000, so at least 20 years old probably. Maybe not quite that old when I actually finally bought the bottle, but I don't use a lot of gloss, so I just keep using that bottle, and it seems to okay. Hey, thanks so much for the follow. I don't actually see it happening, why I don't know. But thank you so much. Oh, you know, maybe that's not actually layered on. Let me see if I can see who followed us. Wow, I don't know. Well, thank you so much for the follow. Say something in the chat, and then I'll thank you by name or by handle. But yeah, this was fun. I really like it. I used a lot of matte because I'm like, oh, it's fabric, right? So that's what ultra matte, and then I used standard matte for like the vinyl speaker case. There was some shading going on here on the speaker, which I barely see, ultimately. But he turned out cool, and the Penny's great too, really cool. I think she's a little dark. Her eyes will help pop her face out a little bit. I'll probably put a little bit of color on her lips, but ultimately it's a little disappointing. I also was painting some other Marvel United original box stuff for a friend, and been getting along on that, and it's been going great. I want to actually, he has everything, and I want to get to the point of doing 2 of them at a time. So it's a lot of minis. I got like 50 minis to go till I'm equally caught up. Today I have a few other miniatures. Let me get to some of the example photos. Well, I wonder why that didn't show up. Oh, you know what I can do? I can go to Stream Elements that we use here. Hey, that's not, it doesn't say. That is crazy. Maybe that's just a trigger. Could have been a trigger. So maybe nobody followed? Doesn't look like it, but we're gonna reload this one from 2 hours ago to see if we can get it to work. So let me quickly load that up. That's weird that audio triggered. I wonder if it was a... But we got audio issues with it. Oh, there we go. So that is working. I wonder what the deal was there. Who knows? There's been so many issues. That's another Stream Elements audio that we use. We use a lot of their stuff, and it's common. I was watching some, like the stuff I have running in the background. It's on some other YouTube stuff that I watch, but they have good stuff, and it's fine. My brother writes a lot of stuff. Hey, how you doing? You're in Denver. See, I grew up in Denver. How do you say your name? CRC? Android? Caveman Rumble? Thanks for the compliment. Hey, you followed Tech4249. I don't understand why they didn't show up. Thank you so much. So yeah, I've got a few to work on. I don't know all of their names left. I think that is it for the, these three are the remainders for, I mean, this one needs to be finished. This one is essentially done. I'll put some varnish on it today. I usually do brush varnish. I have not tried, I know matte, I like ultra matte a lot, and I like the matte. I know that ultra matte especially can fog up. So I generally do those things on, by hand. But, I mean, and you can't see any strokes. Let's see if I can get it to focus. I don't see, it levels pretty darned well, so I don't think it's a problem. Now, I did do several coats of the matte because the matte is really, really thin varnish. I love it because it is very, very matte. You can compare it to this, which has a sheen, and that is matte. And then this is the ultra matte with zero sheen. The pants, I think any sheen we have is because it didn't coat very well, so maybe it needs a little bit more. But because this was actually pulling up on it, it was the, you know, the shine of the pant, the speed paint, or no, it's not speed paint, contrast paints were too much, and so I just wanted, you know, it's denim, so I want it to look matte. Let's see here. So I'm going to get to the photos. I got to go to Spider. So I've been kind of like jumping all over the place in painting. I was working on the most recent minis that you can get, which are the Spider-Geddon ones. Those are, I think those are finally out wide. I bought these from Spin Master in August. And I started painting some of them back then. The first ones I painted were these. And let's see here. And this one, oh, and this one, the Spider-Man Noir, which is great. They're all really, I really like Spider-Man Noir. He ended up coming out way better than I expected. Symbiote. And then this one here, I just finished recently. And they look cool. These, I was trying to do all the grayscale ones first, because they all are mostly, Spot is all grayscale. Gosh, what's her name? Silk is pretty much grayscale, except I decided to go a little bit more. These two end up going more color on the base than I normally like to. But I didn't know what was going on there. It's like it's dirt, and he's coming out of another spot, so I thought that was cool. Oh, you've only just started to paint them? Fantastic. Which ones? Are you actually working on the Spider-Man, Spider-Geddon ones? I really, really like them. Yeah, the base is cool. I like that it's got like a hill that it's coming out of too. Oops, not in focus. I love it. I know nothing about Spot. I don't dislike Spider-Man, but I have never read any of the comics. I'm actually more of a DC person when it comes to reading comics, but I'm not even much of a DC person when it comes to that. I've mostly read like, when I grew up, maybe when I was younger, really young, comics were popular more amongst my friends maybe, but none of my real close friends. So wow, should I do Moreland? That one's kind of cool, purple. Superior Spider-Man's pretty awesome though. So they really, the nice thing about the minis now is they have, you have the Avengers Core Men, X-Men Gold and Blue, and Deadpool box. Oh, nice. Yeah, I painted the X-Men Core already. I think those are all in the box though. I don't think I have any of them out. So that is all that I've done from X-Men. I have most everything, if not everything, I backed it all on the Kickstarter. And hey, thanks for the follow. UK Razzle Crove Ramps 5 Bori. Awesome long handle there. It's almost as long as mine. No, mine's long, not as long. Yeah, I really want to finish these. So my goal, it's a dream, I know. I've been working really hard, trying to paint on the weekends and evenings and stuff. I want to try to get through all of them by April, which is not going to be a possibility. I mean, basically I had to do like 3 or 4 minis a day. And that's just not, I can't really paint that much. But the reason is because I've got the multiverse set coming. And that's going to be about 100 minis as well, another 100 minis. So I really want to try to get through these, and I'm volunteered to paint my friend's stuff. I wish Scott would actually, I mean, I don't really want to do them all right now with his as well, but I should, because I find painting multiples of the same one is not a big deal. I really love the Marvel United stuff. I think it's great for people to just get started in painting. You know, it's a lot of fun stuff. Hi, just found you guys a few days ago. Wow, awesome. Thanks, Mary Froelich. We have a fun group, definitely. I miss, thanks for Walt about the zenithal. I like painting them with the airbrush. I did do this mini. So essentially these are more of the standard slap chop, which I don't really like that phrase. I mean, I don't dislike that phrase. I'm not a problem with it, but it's zenithal. These were done that way. I painted both of these where I did airbrush them black, but then I came in and dry brush. Now, I'm not completely smitten with Black Widow's face. Let's see, here's the first one I painted. And I'm pretty sure I came in and by hand painted her face white and then did the contrast paint on it. But, and I could go back and do that on this one, but I don't mind it. It's just different. But what I really like, I mean, I think it's great. It looks, all the details popped out, and then I probably came in and did some dry brushing after I painted it. So I dry brushed, you know, after I put on the contrast black Templar, I think I used on this one. I usually use Basilicanum gray for a lot of the black, but I think I did the other one on this one. And then I painted like the white, the red on top of that. This one here, I actually dry brushed all the metallics. And so it was, I dry brushed everything, and I feel like I probably should have put some silly putty or something over it and then airbrush the base itself. Because, I mean, this looks good though. Let me see, here's the other one. Here's the first one I painted. And they're both pretty cool. I actually kind of like the water this way. I have I did the same type of thing. When I was painting the minis for Jurassic World Legacy, Isla Nublar one, I dry brushed one where the dinosaur was in the water. I think that's from Jurassic, or what is it called? It's not called Jurassic Park 2, but the Lost World. And I did the same thing, and I was really impressed. I thought the water turned out really awesome. So this is not water, it's a energy blast, but I think it looks cool. I'm really happy with it. This is what I wanted for the metallics to look like. I tried on Ultraman here, not Ultraman. What's he called? Ultron. And I was unhappy with it. I mean, it's fine. It looks good. But it was more, I didn't really dry, I did dry brush it, but I didn't do it correctly. I feel you need to make it black and then bring it up with silver. But he turns out great, and it's pretty awesome. The reason why I think I would wanted to airbrush this base is so that it ties in with the other minis. I don't mind it looking a little different. I'm still not 100% satisfied with the yellow. I'm pretty certain I used one of the new yellows instead of the yellow that I used here, which is called Iondine Yellow, which is really an orange, but when you lighten it up with the contrast medium, it turns out to be pretty yellow. I did, do I have her here? Oh yes. I have Captain Marvel, and her hair was is that color, where I really thinned it with the contrast medium, then I went over it with some higher levels of concentration of the original color to give it kind of that flame look, and it turned out good. She's neat. Again, see, this is the matte, not the ultra matte, but the matte. I don't think I used, I have satin as well, and I think the satin, maybe I tried it, and maybe this is where I was like, that's too shiny for me. I also had recently painted this one for my friend. It's very similar to the one I did, but I think the one that I did for myself, I'm trying to like do the same thing so that I don't feel, because I always will give the person the higher quality miniature that I painted. I always do that for Scott because I'm not that concerned about it, but I actually really like the jacket on. This is the same color, but I think the zenithal highlight was brighter on this one. I kind of like this Red Skull's head better than that, but they are not the same color. I clearly used 2 different colors, even though I thought I was using the same one. But it does not matter. They're close enough. Actually, I really like his teeth. What I did is I actually washed them with a gray, very light white gray, and then picked out the individual teeth with the paintbrush, and I think it looks better. This just looks like a vampire fangs. But they're cool. I really like them all. So yeah, I want to figure that all out. I was trying to do I did this one in a zenithal metallic, so I painted it black and then I did levels of metallic, and it's okay. I really like how he looks as far as the what is his name? SD slash gosh darn it. And I like it because I wanted it to look metallic. It looks a little bit like Iron Man, you know, it's got the same kind of stuff going on. But the dry brush I feel is a little bit more dynamic, but this one looks cool. And I'm not worried. I'm not worried about everything being the same. I want them to be similar. Because, you know, I used a lot of airbrush on this one, the Dormammu. You're in Australia, a little hard to get a hold of them. Are they more expensive? I was reading about the cost of games in Australia. That just seems terrible. I backed the Kickstarters and I think I'm satisfied with them. I just don't need any more. I hope they don't do another one, but I'm sure they got another one coming. My dream is that they'll do a Star Wars United one, but who knows. Have they done, I mean, if they did it with Spin Master, they could do it, but I don't think CMON has done a Star Wars license thing yet. And they did do the DC. I have some of the Spider-Man Zombicide. I mean, not Spider-Man, Marvel Zombicide, but I didn't back the whole thing. I couldn't. Scott, the BGG's owner, was saying, why don't you just back it with BGG's card and we'll make content. And I'm just like, it's the same thing like Walt's talking about here, is that they're hard to get and they're awfully expensive. And so it's just too much to like invest that much into something that people can't get. So let's see here. If I do, what's he called? Superior Spider-Man? Yeah. I keep doing the back. That's not going to help me. So I usually do the face first. I've had I will be honest, I had a heck of a time on these eyes. The outline plastic of the design is not wide enough. And so I had to freehand, which is fine, but I was having some issues like just getting stability and I guess the angle and all that. So I had to go back and forth with the white or gray and then some of the red, meaning I painted white on and then put the red back over it. So this one seems like it's a little wider than the Spider-Punk. But I usually start with the face or places inside and then work out. Since he has a lot of black, that means that doing the red will probably be the best idea first, and then I probably won't touch the eyes and leave them as they are. I almost always end up doing something to like, I don't even know if you see it, but I put some white in the tops of his eyes. But let's go with the red. I'm going to use the same red. I'm very happily using, I'm not sure that it's the best red in every situation, but now that I have this ball red from Citadel, it is a single pigment paint. And that means that it's not working like a standard contrast paint. In a lot of the contrast paints anyway, they'll have different shades. Either it will be a lighter pigment with the suspending, you know, like the medium with like a red color that stays more suspended. And so the white will settle. For example, Basilicanum Gray it actually hasn't settled a lot, but this is a very, very light pigment on the bottom here. It's just, I used it earlier. This has almost no pigment settling except for the color of the red. An example I think of that is this one here is a white. It's mostly like a darker medium with a light pigment. And that's what happens is it will settle and give you the shading that you want. Although that seems contrast, you know, the opposite of what you want it to do. Example, this blue, which is an older one, which is probably, it does settle and it does do that stuff. And But I feel that the red doesn't settle like this. It does not look like fabric. The base game's up 14 USD dollars. Okay. US dollars in the Guardians. Oh, so that's about the same that we pay. That's a good deal. And I think it's a very good deal. Oh, but you're comparing it to, it's a lot of Australian dollars. But that's the same kind of money. I mean, I know the Brothers Murph got a couple of the base sets for $10 US dollars here, like on special. And I've got one, Scott's actually back home. So that's why I have this. I actually have another set that what I started to do these because I asked Scott if we had sets at the BG warehouse, and I was like, can I have another one of these sets to just start painting? I'd like to paint all these, except for, I will admit, except for the Hulk, in the dry brush method of zenithal highlighting or slap chop, because I want to show people you don't necessarily need an airbrush. I really like using airbrushes, and I think you can do a pretty good job with a relatively basic airbrush. I watched a video, I do not remember his name. I do like his stuff, and he was judging, but his comparison was the same airbrush twice, plus a Harder and Steenbeck, and I'm like, that's not correct. You need to go for something mid-range. One of the mid-range ones that I'm really recommending lately is this. This is the Squidmar one. I don't necessarily, I'm not even into gold. I actually think I just should have bought the silver, the chromium one. Oops. Darn it. Thanks so much for the follow, Ravskill. I really like their airbrushes, Harder and Steenbeck. This was 105 euros, I think. It's 95 euros maybe, or 90, this might be 103. I thought it was only 8 euros more. And I thought, I like Squidmar. I don't really watch his videos much anymore, but I thought I'd get one and just see how this is. And it's a very nice airbrush. The great thing is it's built for beginners, so it's not terribly expensive, but it's worth considering. Especially because parts are easier to get. The needle, many of the components are exactly the same as the higher end ones. So this cap is not. It's meant to protect the needle more for beginners, the nozzle cap. But this is the standard nozzle, and this is, I mean, this may be the new version of it, but it would probably fit in the other Infinity I have, which the Infinity is the more expensive ones. There are even more expensive ones in the version I have. Mine is a recent version, but there's a brand new version coming. This is the brand new version of the Ultra. It's meant to help beginners. It has different settings that you can set your airbrush to give you the right level of paint, theoretically. So you can pull back, and this would be for priming a miniature. This would be for basing a miniature, so a little bit less paint. And then this would be for detailing, levels of detailing. So you go to the 3 is like the most detailed, I would imagine. Very, very little pullback, then a little bit more, and then a little bit more, and then wide open. The other thing it does is you must press down to pull. So if I just pull back the trigger, it won't activate. And good airbrush usage is air first, then paint. That's what a dual action airbrush does. This gives you the air, pulling back gives you the amount of paint that you have coming out. The other airbrush that I actually have been using more, I've also had it longer, so that's really not a fair comparison, is the Gallery ones. These are a new company, and I think they're French or Swiss, but you know, it's Chinese manufactured, and that's not terrible. Lots of airbrushes are made in China, but all of the Harder Steenbecks are made in Germany, and they are amazingly engineered. I've got several of them now, and I really love them. But I'm also a Badger guy. Badger's been my go-to airbrush. This has a similar thing going on with this nozzle. But there's certain elements that I'm not sure about on this airbrush. I will show you. The nozzle is kind of similar, but it has a different kind of air. It's smaller, too. The new version is actually bigger. They have a brand new airbrush too. I mean, this is new, but they've got another new one that's got a slightly longer version of this, which is much more like the Harder Steenbeck. But this has, I think, 8 flutes along the edge to have air to atomize the paint. And that's really kind of interesting. It does a great job for priming so far. It's I think a higher end version of their airbrush. They have one that's only $40. So in my opinion, that's probably the airbrush to get. You can buy parts. I don't have it here, but I had a problem with the needle when I got this. It actually had a little bit of a bend, which you couldn't even see. But when I pulled it across my skin, I could feel it. And so then I used my loop here and looked at the needle, and I could see a little tiny bend. And so I wrote them and said, hey, so I know how to straighten airbrush needles. I mean, I've been using airbrushes forever. So I tried straightening it on this, I have a cutting mat beneath this paint mat, and I was able to roll it, and I kind of got it there, but it still was So what happens when you, number one, it's not good to have a bent needle, but additionally what starts happening is you get dry tip, and dry tip just, it keeps building up on the needle and screwing up your atomization. You don't want that. But this airbrush was like 100 and, what is going on here? This looks like it's got something going on. Maybe it's just paint. Thanks for the follow. Morhova 8025 Zeus. This one was going for 120, which when you can buy this one for $100 or so, I would say probably go with the Harder and Steenbeck. Definitely the parts are more available than this one, but these guys sent me the new needle, and it's a retail version of the needle with barcode and everything. So they're trying to do that. So they could get to that point availability wise and stuff. And they have a bunch of new airbrushes and lots of new ideas. Literally the new airbrush I saw that had that needle, that longer nozzle, is a brand new design, more design stuff. It's pretty awesome. And it's actually a lesser airbrush in their range than this one is, supposedly. I don't know if I 100% agree with that, because I really feel like there's a divot here. No, it's just paint. So this cup, so if you buy the $40 or whatever it is version of this, which is the, do I have the box here? Let me see. The lower cost one has, there it is. Ugh. So these are their airbrushes. This is the A series. I believe their premium series is, do they say it on here? I don't think so. Their medium series, which this new one is, it's a premium, not an ace, it's like $60. There's two versions, one with a 2.0 needle and one with a 3.0 needle, I think. They have these polished cups that are even more polished than these. And this is really well polished. And I will say, I wasn't skeptical because I knew that it was a problem, but I was like, oh, that's going to be great having a super polished cup because it's way easier to clean. This also is threaded, so you could use this and just put paint right in here. You will get paint in the threads, but you can just, if you're doing a couple drops, and that's actually ends up being quite a bit of paint if you're doing detail work, you can do that. This one here actually can do the same thing. It's not threaded, so this is one of the benefits of this airbrush. You just put the paint into the body here and then airbrush. And this just fits by friction, it's not threaded. And it's pretty darn solid. It's not as polished. I don't know if they're polishing, maybe their new version, their new Infinity will have a polished cup. I haven't looked at the Evolution, the new Evolution. They have that too. They also have a Squidmar version that's widely available. I think they had a Squidmar like this, but maybe a little bit better. I don't know if this is engraved. Seems like it might be. They have a Squidmar coming that, they have that black one, but it's limited edition, and I didn't need it. They do have a new, what is it called? Infinity? Yeah, that's what I was saying. They have a new Infinity coming that will be even better than it is, but I really like these. The new one has got a hole that you can see inside to see if there's paint coming out when you pull the needle out backwards, which I would love. But I really can't buy any more airbrushes. I have far too many. I'm not even using my favorite ones that I have, which are the Badger ones, but their machine work is not as good as these. But I do love the Badger Sotar 2020. I think that's a great airbrush. So let's go ahead and go with this. So you can see I did some zenithal where it's, you know, the way you do this is you paint it entirely black. Then you paint gray at a 45-degree angle. You want to leave darkness on the bottom, right? so where the sun is not getting. So you do gray at the 45-degree angle, and then you do white directly above. Now I cheat, and you can do whatever you want, but I put a little bit more paint on their face because I want the face to be the focal point. I'm not sure this Jack Nicholson looking guy is still light enough. I joke that they end up looking like they've got 5 o'clock shadow going on because they don't get it dark enough. Like Captain America I think looked okay. He still looks a little bit like 5 o'clock shadow. He looks like a little kid with 5 o'clock shadow, so the chibi thing. But I really love their stuff. I mean, I really love these minis. They're, like Walt was saying, $10, $15 for the base set. That's 10 minis. That's a great deal, and you get a lot. You get 9 or 10 minis in the base box. I think it's 10. And some of the other expansion sets will have one additional miniature if you backed it on Kickstarter, and they seem to be this. The last 2 Kickstarters included the previous Kickstarters, so you can get the older miniatures. They have like a very big stretch goal box. It's not as cheap as it was, but it's not terribly expensive, and it's definitely cheaper than buying them from most eBay people. So let's go I do want to do this one here. I think the purple would be awesome, but we'll do that later. Let's work on, let me get back to the picture here. Superior Spider-Man. I don't know the story about him. It kind of looks like what was going on in so there's a lot of, see, I cleaned these and I didn't do a good job. There's a lot of flashing here on his hand. See if I can get it to focus. It's really not great. You need to I spent all this time cleaning these up and completely missed the hands. So you can repaint, since this is pretty much a white. Wow, it really isn't coming off. You can touch it up with white. Actually, probably one of the contrast, or not contrast, the standard Citadel whites that I use for, no, it's not that one. It should be out here. I feel like it's one I use all the time, but I just never see it. We'll do a good job. Oh, there it is. Gray Seer. That's a little too dark. But here's the deal. You're not going to see it. Once you put the color on, it's very hard to notice, especially since I'm already doing the shading with the undercoating, right? I'm using contrast paints, but not worrying about the shading so much because, the paint does it already for me for the most part. Now, some of the paints don't do a good job of showing the undercoating, especially depending on how much you put it on. I tend to, wow, there's like some on his leg too. I did a terrible job. Also, I don't worry about it too much. It's just weird because that's very visible to me. So he is red underneath, and you can see that there. So I need to touch that up. But first, I said I was going to do the varnish. Let's do that. Cap that X-Acto blade. So I'm going to use a matte varnish, not the ultra matte. I like these AK Interactive ones. I think MIG is an offshoot of somebody that left this company and is doing their own paints. Those guys have a good varnish too. I don't have it. I've heard that this one's good, but I watched some other videos recently, and a lot of people want to use spray can or airbrush, and I feel fine brushing stuff on. So I don't know. I don't know what the ultimate answer is on all that. I just like these, and AK Interactive has had kind of like a controversial position about some things recently, which is unfortunate. So I was going to do this one. So what I do when I paint, so I have a crap ton of handles. I have the GW ones. I don't have any of the real big GW ones. I have these that I got from, oh, I meant to bring that out. I got a new paint light. I don't know that I'll get to use it out here, but it's from these guys, Hobby Holder or Game Envy. This is like his first Kickstarter. And I backed this. It uses bottle caps. You use glue, poster tack on the top. and then it has this frame. This is what I really should use when I'm trying to do super steady stuff. I also have this one that has the handle and the cap part, and he had a 3D printed STLs that you got at the end of the campaign, and so I printed, I think this is breaking. It's bowing. I did this in resin. Is that right? No, I think I 3D, did I resin print this? No, I think it was 3D like this. But the pressure of this cap is causing this to bend. And it doesn't go flat. I'm not really sure what thread this was for, but it's pretty close to this one. And it's close enough. I don't really care. Of course, it really needs to stay on here, so let's see if it works. Oh yeah, you can see the crack here. And I 3D printed this handle as well. This is part of it, but the rest of it is part of the Kickstarter. Yeah, that's fine. This is even for a bigger model, but it's harder for me to brace. I actually somehow injured my hand last night. I didn't actually do anything. I painted yesterday, and then I came home and my thumb was, I felt like I sprained my thumb, so I have something going on there. So what I normally do, this is an old like dowel that many years ago that I put together. And then I will paint all the stuff in this mini holder because I feel it's less likely to pop off, although I've had them pop off of these jaws easily enough because these spread, and if you let it fall or something. I actually had one break, one of these CMON ones, minis break recently, and it was a real disappointment because they've been super, now they changed their plastic and it's harder, so maybe that's the issue. So anyway, I don't want those jaws to be holding this part, so I do the varnish with this one so that it doesn't make any difference. I won't be touching it. No, it's not Sebastian Shaw. What is his name? Hold on, let me look it up. Let me look it up here. He's part of the Moreland. I said that earlier. Why am I thinking about that? It's Moreland. But he does kind of look like Jack Nicholson. Anyway. So the way I paint the bases, I've always painted in black. That's been my thing. But Adam Smasher does it where he paints, that's a Tabletop Minions, who streams on Mondays and Fridays on the front page of BGG, as well as Twitch under Tabletop Minions. He got me painting, when he actually did, we sent him during the pandemic, when we did our virtual con in November of 2020 online, we sent him a copy of Marvel United to paint, and he painted the Hulk and maybe Iron Man? I can't remember. I wish he'd saved his videos because I thought they were great. But what he does is he paints, I knew this before that, but he paints his bases black, and then he puts a coat of the Black Templar contrast paint on it. It does, this is not focusing. It does even out the finish. Now, of course, I can't count on that to be strong, you know, as far as durable, so I have to put a varnish, and I usually put a couple coats of varnish around the edge. Let it completely dry and do a second one. Now, I watched, Goobertown Hobbies had a video where he was priming minis and touching them and, you know, doing this whole, like, crazy thorough method of testing it, and he felt sprayed on varnishes were better, either airbrushed or can sprayed, were more durable than hand painting, which I'm surprised, but maybe it's just the nature of it not being as smooth. I don't know. If you air applied it, whether with a can or airbrush. Now you don't want to go too far once you get to the other side that you've painted. It's already drying. It dries very fast here. Now, so it's dried so fast that it's not going to tear. I'm sorry, this is not focusing. It's dried so fast that by the time I got around, I wouldn't be tearing it. So I go, if you notice, I go backwards, you know, counterclockwise. I used to paint it the other way, but I found that I would get quicker and keep the wet edge and get to this other edge faster than going the other way. I don't know why. Maybe my hand turning it is just better, like the combination. But it does a really good job. Let's see here. Yeah, this was a cool miniature. Oops, I'm sorry. I hope this is available soon. I actually will probably buy another kit of these because I really like these minis. I know Scott wanted the set, and I just went up and bought it at before. So, you know, they have the line at Gen Con. They only had like a certain amount every day. And we went over the booth, and everybody was Nikki and I, and a lot of people recognized us. But the lady running the booth was like, you know, we sell them after we open. I'm like, okay, I'll come back. And then we had another meeting, and then somebody's like, you should let them buy it. They are, you know, they were explaining who we are. And, you know, it's none of that, do you know who I am stuff. I wasn't going to do that. But, oh yeah, this is pretty great. This is what's great about these fidget poppers for cleaning. You can really pull the paint off, and it's relatively simple, and I don't have to use a lot of water or anything to clean it, except when it really gets messy. But the paint pops right out. Anyway, so they ended up, the guy that told them, you know, hey, you really should let them buy that, is his family, his dad designed, not what's on my head, goodness gracious, what is it? I have the mini little thingies over there. Headbands. And we had done a video for that where we used puppets. And so he's like, you should let them buy it. They'll be great, you know. And I mean, I've been streaming it and everything. It's just a downer. It's taken a long time to get out. Like, they had delays. So it's why I'm like focusing on it again, because I think I want to try to do an episode for this. It'd be fun. We had Mike and Dave on it previously. We'd probably still have Dave. I mean, I'll have Mike come if he wants to play too. He's great. So as I was saying before, this is a, you could airbrush this. Like, that would be, to me, that's a, I would love to try to do that, but I'm showing how to paint this stuff easily. I've got this, I have started using metallics where initially I wasn't even going to use metallics. And I did get a bottle of the Speed Paint 2.0 metallics, and I will tell you, those are pretty awesome. So I recommend that a lot. It's really, it seems good. It's got metallic pigment. It has, ooh, that's alcohol's open. You do not want alcohol around acrylic painted minis. I really, see, this is so messy. Although I am painting black over this. I don't know that I should worry about it. I will say, so I was doing the shield, I had to paint so much white. Like, I primed it and it just didn't do it. And I'm really disappointed. I actually think the other one is a little bit better crispiness. My first version, first go at it. I'm really eager. I have always been excited by the idea of doing multiples at the same time. Back when I was in, heck, I think when I was in high school, I had an art project that I wanted to paint two. No, it was college. I wanted to paint two of the same thing. Actually, it was airbrush. It was airbrush painting a project. And I didn't finish it. And but what was the realization I had was it's not easy. You don't, even though I was really trying very hard to do the exact same thing to each of the paintings, they ended up looking different, which was cool. I just didn't end up finishing it. I had an idea. I had like this, I mean, I had won an award in high school, an art award for a airbrush painting I did. And I got my own hair in the paintbrush. It's probably better than the synthetic. And I had like this style that I really liked, and I was trying to do the same kind of thing. And I've kind of found out that I'm not necessarily, at least I'm not as much of an artist anyway that would do that kind of stuff. But additionally, I was more of a graphic artist. And I ended up finishing it. And that would have been, I mean, I liked painting the airbrush paintings. So you can see I'm getting a little bit of red on the rim of the eye. It won't matter because the black will cover it up, but I probably will put, I don't know, because it's very thin there. The downer is I love this paint, but as it dries, it darkens and it's a little dark. But it's going over a pretty bright white, so. And I'm doing this straight. I'm not thinning it at all, but I know the intensity of this red, and with my undercoating, it'll be strong enough because it's the same one as this. But you can see I probably had similar intensity. Now like the gray, the undercoating, but this one I did put matte, which probably brings the intensity down a little bit. But as you can see, it's not really settling. It's all the same color, and that I think is the. Let me get that bottle out of the way there. That is the single pigment nature of this paint. So that's the bummer. I wish they would tell you that. You can kind of tell. Like I said, I looked at the bottom of the bottle. I'm not even actually 100% heard that is a single pigment paint, but I'm pretty darn sure. I did watch a great video, Stolly, Tale of Paints, something Painters. He does a lot of overviews of all the different paint series, and he was doing one recently about the new Army Painter paints, which I'm very excited about. And he was like, they're great, but they're good, but they're not the best paints ever, which is what the marketing for that is. But it's still, they look pretty good. Adam is a friend, and he paints that, and he's actually now a representative. He's working with them. I don't know if he's going to produce content. I'm not really sure. He told us at Gen Con, and I was beginning to think I misunderstood him because I didn't hear any announcements. Then he did a video about Army Painter paints. I'm like, well, he will say here, right? And he didn't say because it probably wasn't announced. I know it wasn't announced yet, and they announced it right at the end of the year, I think. So I'm very happy for him because it's cool. He is a programmer, but he has like stepped back. He's more freelancey on that, and he's doing more stuff with the media here, hobby media stuff, which is awesome. And I'm eager to. I was very excited about those paints until I saw the cost. The new paints, a little alcohol, no nonsense, no sense of adventure. I saw the cost. They announced it the other day, I think the beginning of the week, and they're going to be $750. I swear to you, I thought it said $798 for all 216 paints. But then when I looked at it again, because Adam gave me, I had wrote to him and said, hey, I'm really excited for you. I was beginning to think I misunderstood you. And then I went and looked and saw the numbers while I was writing him. I'm like, wow, $800 for those paints. Now, I don't need all that stuff. I don't have any space for that either. But I will probably buy some of them. The neat thing is the 3-stage triad, I don't know what they're calling it. They have in their airbrush paints, they have a triad system, meaning they have 3 colors that will match when you use them together. So you could do, without having to mix, you can do shades. And the new system, the regular paint system, is 4 sets of triads? Let's see, it's 6 colors, so it's 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 6. So yeah, it's 4 sets of 3. Now you don't need all that, right? You do what you. I'm not even sure. That was my concern about it. When I heard about the colors, I'm like, well, isn't that really, you just divide the number of standard acrylics by 6, and that's how many different colors you have, and I think it was like 27. So I'm not sure, right? Stolly, I think his color palette is a little bit more like mine, even though I love blues, but I also like reds and pinks and purples, and they don't have a lot of those choices. Although they do, right? They've got 6 of each color, but I don't know. And then I guess his thing was they also had some colors that still had their old color names and they don't actually match. So that if you are using those colors to paint your minis, you better go out and buy what you need. Because they're just announcing it and they're not even really going to be shipping till March. So, although there's tons of people doing videos. I do need acrylics though. That's my problem. So I mostly have, I just got it on that part there. I mostly have older, well, some Citadel, a little bit of Citadel stuff. And then I had, I was also saying about the HMG, about the Stolly. I'll tell you that in a second. But I also have these other ones called Nitro paints, which were from Cell, and Cell doesn't even do paints anymore, so I don't even know when I really bought them. I think it was a long time ago. But the deal was, they used to be, Stolly was saying that I knew they were made by HMG back in the day, and then he said they went to Color Arts, which was the one I wanted to know. Like, I really liked the Citadel metallics from the early 2000s era. But they were made in France, and I can't remember exactly what he said. I think it was Color Arts. And I would love to get paints like those, but supposedly other people felt they weren't that great. Now, you know, he actually talked to us specifically about the metallics, and he said I think he said only the gold was good, or maybe not the gold, maybe the silver. I really love the mithril. I mean, I actually have a bottle that I decanted. Oh, that's not it, but that's even an old one too. I think that's HMG. I have a bottle of decanted mithril from them, and I love that mithril silver. I don't even see it here. I don't even know if it's any good because I haven't used it in forever. I would say probably though my favorite metallics right now, even though I do really love those, the one that I got, the gold that I bought, are the airbrush color or whatever metallic color from Vallejo. I bought this one a few years back. Metal color, airbrush colors. I really love these. I don't feel they have a bright enough silver though. This is straight silver. They might have one brighter than that, but none of them are like mithril. I know that what's their names do a mithril maybe, Vallejo, or maybe it was, I don't know. It's so funny. Vallejo was doing exactly the same color names for a little while there. Ugh, I just painted on that. Dang it. The good thing is you just want to get this in here so that you can put the black on top of it. What is it doing there? Oh, that's red too. But I really, metallics are tough. My favorite white is and a lot of people like it, is this one here. I looked at it a second ago, the Proacryl. But even then, it's the best white probably out there, or one of the best. But it's still not great for me. I still have problems. Really frustrating. Because they're all semi-chalky. Now, I just put it all over his leg. Now, it's going to be black, but let me try to clean it. The problem is it really absorbs it. And I don't want it to destroy the, I mean, I don't know. I often use the grayscale black, right? I use the Basilicanum gray. I really like that one as a black. But this one I might do straight black. Oh well. Sloppy. But I mean, look how good this looks, one coat. I mean, I am painting it on a white, but it looks pretty solid. I need to try to get blue to work. As you can see here, it is still splotchy. I have real issues with some of these colors. Again, I don't think that this is a single pigment paint. I believe it's one of the older ones. Let's see what the copyright, no, 2021. It might be the new one. So I don't feel they had any single pigment paints in the first batch. Now, I didn't buy everything, so I don't know 100%. I still don't have all those original ones. Basically, I stayed away from anything that people were saying was not very good. But ultimately, some of the ones that people don't like. I love Wildwood. Is that what it's called? Yep, Wildwood is one of my favorite colors of the range. It's very dark. It does do the settling that you need for the shading. I painted this mini entirely from a not a zenithal paint job. I literally painted it that white that gray I was showing you right here, which they don't sell anymore. Gray Sear. They had a primer for this. Now their primer is white. I have a bottle of it here. White Scar. I haven't used it yet. It's too cold right now to use it, so they sent that stuff to me. And this looks great. This is not shaded with the zenithal, but it does some cool stuff. I did some wet blending, and I love the Wildwood. I think it looks great. It also bounces really well. Okay. Oh wait, we do have a back of this. That's one thing. They finally have pictures. Oh, it's not a very good shot of the back. Let me see if I can figure out what's going on there. So now I'm gonna have to paint black over the spider web, which doesn't bother me, but I don't know why. I should have skipped. It'll be better. It'll be tough on the back though. Wow. But you're really just letting it flow on. Not that wet. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but you don't want it too intense. Even though this paint settles and dries pretty flat, you don't want to go too crazy on it. Hey, I just painted his thumb. It's one reason why I go with the lighter colors and inside first, just because you can easily cover with the other color. Like the black will be no problem. But even then, like I said, you can paint the gray over there and you don't have to be exact. Like I can touch that up if I feel really concerned about it, and it'll do a good job doing the coverage. Like you won't notice it. I've done some where it wasn't even that close. The gray that wow, I don't get what's going on there. Maybe do a little bit of red between the two. Right on his thigh. Okay, I'm not doing very well there today. Maybe I've been painting too long. See what I can clean up here. So if you work quickly, you can get it off. It's not real critical, like I said. I can touch it up afterwards. And I do have to touch up his hand. Oh, he's purple. Is that right? So that means it's a not just it can be either a hero or a villain. I've used Citadel blues without trouble, but they were layer or okay, yeah. It is Ruben, that is exactly why. It is a contrast paint. I can get them to be smoother though, right? Part of the issue is obviously contrast paints work best on organic surfaces, and they're going to just look better. I will still go back and do some work to improve them, with maybe standard acrylics or whatever. Like this could look bad. I'm just brushing this on. Thankfully, there's not a lot of. It's not a wide surface of. You're not seeing that. It's not a wide surface of smoothness, but it's still. That's part of the problem. Is that contrast paints are a little bit more touchy, a lot more touchy, because they have a certain transparency in them. So now you're saying Citadel blues weren't a problem for you, but I know that people did not like the ultramarine blue, and that is why I don't have it. But I kind of feel like I should get that color. So yeah, you want to try to have it go on smooth, and you'll get a better. Now this is not really working out. It is darker though. Maybe I should just make it wetter. I don't know. Looks good on that side, but it's drying a little splotchy already. But I basically try to work from like joint to joint type of a thing. Again, mostly the contrast, the zenithal does the shading for me. And I work on edge, you know, so this has got like several edges around the circumference of the limb. I'm getting it on his body. I'm going to let that go because I don't want to mess up. The red is actually okay. So it's a little wet. It's going to probably look a little odd. I was very happy with it when it went on, but I think it might be too wet. Golden So-Flat paint, what is that? Oh, that must be from Golden Paints. I have some Golden stuff. I really love their paints, but they're not, you know, they charge for what the pigments are. So they can be rather expensive. I actually used, what is that paint called? I have some bottles of it that was kind of the predecessor to contrast paints. I don't know if how much sooner before they did it, because, you know, I know that they worked on contrast paints for quite a few years before releasing them. Oof, I didn't do that inside edge. Yeah, I don't think this is the right level of tightness on this one. Let's go one more. I'm also worried. I actually had one bend, the base bend, sitting on the holder. You know, I don't think you should leave them on for too long anyway, because this plastic is a little pliable. Now, this is the newer version of their plastic that they're using, so it's stiffer. It looks okay. It's drying pretty good. There's still that bit there. I felt actually guilty working on the Spider-Punk, but I wanted to get it done. I was very excited with how it would turn out last time I painted, so I worked on it several times. But I wanted to paint it on the stream just because I think there's some great stuff to learn on that one. Part of it is the varnishing. I think that is actually pretty good to do the different types of varnish. think there's another color I'm going to burn through pretty quickly because I'm using it a lot. I do like how bright it is. I really wanted to try the first red that Army Painter put out in their contrast paints. I did not get that. I was hoping to just get that paint because I like the reds that they had. They're fine. Oops, I missed another edge on that other side. I used the two that they had originally, the Blood Angels red and the Flesh Terrors red. They were both good. And when you thinned them down, they were pretty great. But I wanted a real red, like a straight red. And this ball red is really it. It's very bright. Let that dry and don't touch. Don't touch! Oof, that's hard to get smooth. Can't wait for the chibi glow. Oh my gosh, me too. Tiny Clans, I've bought a lot of different paints as well. I've really been looking for like the great, you know, I honestly feel for the most part I probably should just stick with the Pro Acryl ones, as I already have quite a few. I have all the metallics. I think all of the transparent paints and several of the standard acrylics. Definitely black and white. I think both of their black and white are very good. But I would really like to, you know, see what the other ones are like. I might buy like the mega set, which is still $200 list right now from the new Army Painter. What do they call them? War Paint Fanatics? I can't remember. It looks pretty smooth. On this part, it's mostly dry. And I did shading. You can see it's darker on the back. It probably will require another coat, which is a bummer. Was all saying how much I cleaned up the flash on this, and I did not do a good job entirely on these arms. Thanks, Rob Ramov 6639 Vine. Thanks for the follow. I am working on the Marvel United stuff, the Spider-Geddon minis, which are great. They're just getting out there, I think, finally. Thought they were going to make it by October. And I talked, we filmed a, basically kind of a preview version of Dark Providence, which is Cthulhu Dark Providence, which is a CMON game. We had one of the designers here, Travis Chance, and one of the press people or one of their marketing people come over, and he said that it was coming. Now this was December, and he said it should be available soon, but I looked again recently, a couple weeks ago, and didn't see that it was available still, and I'm kind of bummed because I really want people to be able to get it because I really love the minis. This Penny Parker is amazing. It's a great mini. It's really cool. I wish I had done a little bit brighter. Well, I tried on her face to bring it up a bit, and I just didn't get there. I could do what I did on the others where I just paint it white, but I don't know. Again, she could be, I think she's like Japanese in the Spider-Man animated film, which is great. I think that character is designed, I think we looked it up and was designed by, not designed by, but created by Gerard Way from My Chemical Romance. So it's a newer character. Nikki was a fan of, which I never read. Nikki's the much more comic book reader. She likes Doom Patrol, the old Doom Patrol and the new Doom Patrol stuff. And Gerard Way had done those. On Black 4.0, I don't know. I have 3. I have a bottle of 3 right here. It's neat. But I still am going to varnish it, so it's not going to be great. I've used it on some stuff. I'm sure 4.0 is pretty cool. I backed it on Kickstarter back in the day. I've got a lot of bottles of it, 2 bottles. And that's a lot of paint. It was going to become my standard primer, but I think it's too delicate for that. And you know, it's weird. You know, you don't want to paint something that matte, I don't think. I only did it a couple times, so I probably should try it one more time. But it's an amazingly flat black. I mean, maybe if you use it as an effect paint. But I did not back this latest run of it. Didn't order it. I've been tempted. Stuart, what's his name? Semple? Stuart Semple? Has got the right idea, you know, let's do some of these things that you can't, because there's restrictions on that paint. And what was the other color that that was particularly the one that was egregious, that some artist had bought up everything on it and he was trying to replicate what was going on with that. So that's annoying, I don't know. But, I mean, not on Stuart Semple's part. I almost bought the glow-in-the-dark pigment. I mean, you know, he's in the UK, and I am in Los Angeles, so it would take a long time. It's going to be expensive to get stuff here. As a matter of fact, I was trying to buy, pre-order, the latest Liquitex gouache is good stuff too, yeah. So flat pricey because they $15 a color, but they're, yeah, for sure. That's a good deal on paint, ultimately. I'm sorry I missed that part. That comment. I'm trying to look for the picture of this I have on. Hey, I'm not signed in. This is the best. I don't understand Apple. Like this is a combination of Apple / Google. Not happy about it. Ugh. Like, what do you mean I'm not signed in? Ugh. Ugh. Hold on a minute. I gotta type in a code. I'm really frustrated with this stuff lately. All the password things are just getting out of hand. And you have to have them. You're gonna have problems if you don't. We used to use LastPass. Oh my gosh, what a nightmare that one was. We never got, but them having like serious breakdowns in security and not telling anybody is really frustrating. We don't use that one anymore. The downer is they are different between each system. And yet your master password's the real pain in the rear end. Oops. I've been watching a lot of, I've watched his stuff before, over the last few years. Trash Theory, he's a British guy doing coverage of 80s, I mean early stuff too, but 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s bands. And it's cool. He does do some research, which is nice, at least. I mean, they all do. There's another guy, I watched that Professor Rock, he's pretty good too. Just interesting. I like hearing that kind of stuff. Nikki was always trying to get me to do, she's like, you should do something about these, about music. You know so much. But I'm like, I do, but I don't. And you know, I don't know how great of a researcher I am anymore. A lot of this music stuff I know is just from my dad was in the industry, but I do retain a lot of that stuff. But it's been cool, like watching some of that stuff. His stuff is pretty cool, and he does one like every couple of weeks, which is about the right frequency for me. I am just getting to some of his older ones. I'm one of those people that will drill in and do all of the stuff. What is that? Is that silver? Okay. It's funny how different these are from the sculpt. So when you look at the ones on from Kickstarter, they he's got red on the bottom of his hands. Interesting. The sculpt is different than the final result many times, and this one has like some more. In the original one, they have like more wrinkles in his crotch area. This is smoother. I'm glad that they do, like, Nikki was like, oh, you're not going to paint the webbing on this one? And I'm like, well, it's not, that's not what they're doing on that one. I like that this one's going to have black, so it's going to be a bit of a challenge to do tight, but I'll do my best. I probably will do it a little bit later. I don't know. The worst part is going to be all of this stuff inside of his arm here and his, on the shoulder. I'll do my best, but it's a challenge. So I basically use a liner. So what they call that? It's a very fine brush. Oh, there it is. No, this is a round. Wow, so this is not a liner. So it's maybe a liners are longer bristles. This is a round, low Cornell, which I've had for years. So this is a 12-0. But I'll use this one to do that kind of stuff. And it's tough. No paint, right? There's almost zero paint inside there. Yeah, Gateway Gamer technology is fun. I have nothing but troubles with this. Come on. It's like trying to get me to report things, which I'm not. Let me escape. But it logs me out all the time, and I'm using it all day. Like, I don't understand what is going on. That red is pretty cool, though. I might use a little bit of orange to highlight the edges, which would be cool. That, of course, you know, using the worst colors. I was trying to do yellow, as I said on the guitar here, and I was using it as a, I was using the glazing medium, which is okay. I need to get better at that. And it was just, hard as heck to get it to do the right level of stuff, and because it's yellow on red, right? I had more fun doing this one here where I was doing the lining with Averland Sunset, I think, which, man, that is a great color. I don't know if you can get that exact color anymore. My friend Sebastian is like, he's the best. He just saves everything. He will buy stuff on Kickstarter and will include paints, and he will resuscitate the paints. He's just great. I wish I was that. I mean, I'm particular. I try to keep everything sealed. I have some older paints for sure. I have, like, this bottle that I decanted was a very old Citadel Dwarf Bronze, which looks weird here, but it's a great color. But I've had that one forever, and it was just like, it was one of the older bottles like this type of a lid. This is the Nitro ones, which are made by HMG. But it had the hexagonal bottle, the older hexagonal bottle, I believe. I can't remember anymore. And I love those paints, but it's the worst though. Here's the deal. You get what works for you and don't worry about it. You know, find something that's good. Don't spend too much money. I don't necessarily recommend a whole set, but maybe one of the smaller sets is a good way to get going. And then just go from there and add what you need. Buying too much of one thing, like I didn't buy all the Citadels. They were very nice. They asked about us doing some stuff. And we still want to do stuff for them, some stuff. We're talking about trying to do, I've just gotten distracted with the Marvel United. We're talking about doing the base box. And they are, I'm putting a a bead in here. These are from Pro-Acryl Monument. They're not very expensive, maybe 20 balls for $1, $2. Does that sound about right, maybe? And so they're pretty good, and they're not, and they're glass, so they're not going to corrode. I do like the stainless steel ones. Some of them have not been stainless steel. Not in my experience, but, well, I have some older paints that used, gosh, had little skulls in them as the mixing balls, and they were great. I think those were Reaper, seems about right. And I think they were maybe Raul Partha, I can't remember. And I have some of those paints still, so I probably have at least one or two of those little skulls floating around. But I like the glass ones. I just wish that they'd sell the glass ones that they have in their, I want to see if I can use this on the one miniature. In these bottles here, I'll show you. These, I just bought some empty bottles from Pro-Acryl, and they have, you can hear the beads in there, and they're bigger, and they're glass as well. But I mean, I like the smaller size. It's pretty good for inside of the Citadel paints, but look how big this, does it even come out of here? There we go. Woo! Look how huge that is. Oops. Compared to this one. So I wish they'd sell these. I'm suspicious that these are the ones inside the paints as well. But look at the difference in size. But that radius is pretty good, or this diameter is pretty good for the insides of the lower sides of the bottles. So I don't know, maybe. I often will put 2 of these in. But I love these too. I'd love to get them. Also glass. They're supposedly surgical grade glass. But yeah, I bought these. So these have a different cap on them. These are dropper bottle caps. I have some of these. But you know, I just pulled that directly off. Well, maybe it was loose. No. I don't know how good these are at sealing. I think I would prefer this to these. That's why I bought the caps as well somewhere. I have a bunch of the caps. These just, paint keeps coming out of them. It's frustrating to me. Like, I don't like to waste a lot of paint. Now, you see I let it dry in the palette and I don't worry about it because you can't. But it's still like a tremendous amount of paint comparative. Like, at least what I'm using times 2 or 3, you know? And it's me even trying to be less wasteful, and it's still too much for me. So it's mostly dry. I still will wait. It's funny. Like, see how it looks pretty darn good when it's white. Like, it gets a pretty smooth coat. Then you go to the dark side, the darker side, and it's very. Oop, there's some red that I missed. It's much more splotchy. So that's why I feel that they want you to use just the white or the grayish colors as your undercoat. That's what Citadel wants, and I believe that's the same thing that Speed Paints do, the Army Painter ones, but they're a little steep. You know, as far as using the rattle can stuff, I still think you should just airbrush it. But I like the Zenithal highlighting. I think they do a pretty good job. I mean, look at this Daredevil. This is literally this color on the Zenithal, maybe 2 coats, but most likely just 1. And look how much the shading really looks great. I love the body. It looks so cool. And, you know, that's 1 coat of that red, the ball red on it. So I don't know. I feel you don't need to go too crazy, and you get a great result. The Zenithal really does a good job. Now this is going to be mostly black for the rest of this. I do need to paint that red. I put it away and I was not done. Let's move that since we're not using it right now. So yeah, I might try to do a little bit of more. I want to use the glaze medium. I've really never used it. I've only used it a couple times here, and as I said, when I was using Lamian medium. It took forever to draw, not forever, but a long time. Probably longer than I'm not, if I'm painting a lot of minis, then I suppose it would probably be fine. I'd be patient and wait for it, but I want to move on, you know. It's funny, what I really like to get good at is non-metallic metal. And you know, there's a lot of OSL, object source lighting, and non-metallic metal that they're doing on these in the paint jobs from Big Child Creatives. Here's the thing, maybe not having so many minis is a good thing. Like, I'm completely obsessed with like trying to get through these. And so I don't want to, I mean, these look good, you know, they really do look good. So I shouldn't sweat it. I will say though, I did have one break. So I had one break here recently of the ones my friend sent me. And I was bummed. It was this one here. I had to glue it back, and I used some accelerator that you can spray on it so that the super glue dries quickly. And it worked. I'm nervous about it though. But I had one break before I think I even got it. I had Squirrel Girl in my, wonder what this goes, maybe that's what those lines are. Maybe I cut off what was showing the red palms or whatever he's got going on. Anyway, I mean, you can use your imagination. You don't have to do everything exactly the same. The reason why I like to just go with what they have on the Marvel United stuff is because they've designed it, right? They're based on comics. People know them. And so just go ahead and follow it. And I don't have to think about it, right? I can just keep going. Now, I've done some of my own interpretation for sure, but I've already got the bulk of it done. So it's like, well, this is okay. I mean, I guess thankfully when I first started painting GW stuff, I didn't worry about it. My first real stuff I painted was, of miniature army stuff was the Eldar. See there, it pops right off. And that was tightly attached to it too. And the Eldar were these craft worlds, right? So you could match the craft world stuff, but you don't have to do anything like that. And you can still say whatever, as long as you do the miniatures as you need to do to be in the armies. But it was encouraging. I mean, you could do that with the Marines too, right? There's so many chapters of the Space Marines, and you can do whatever you want. It's just, don't let yourself get so wrapped up in it that you don't get to actually painting and then actually playing the game. Because that's, the worry about doing it right and all that stuff is just crazy. You don't need to worry about it. You just do what you want, and then don't stress about it. If it's not the greatest, you'll get better. I will say though, boy, you can do some great stuff with little, you don't have to spend a lot of money. Okay, I have no idea what is going on there really, but that should be good enough. Let me do a little bit of red on the back here to see if I can smooth. It does not really matter. I'm not sure that that's really going to do it. It's already drying so quickly. It is very dry. It's cool. It's not that cold here, but it's dry here. It's cold though too for me. It's not roasty at all. But it isn't what everybody else is having to deal with. I don't know. Don't know if it's worth it. Because it looks really good from the front. That's all I really care about. Doctor Strange is great. Let me see if I have it here. It's not... I actually have another copy of that mini too, because I bought one of the Amazon ones I bought. They had a special where you could get the main game plus the Doctor Strange mini, which was on its own, which is in the box if you have the Kickstarter. But let me see if I can track down where the minis are. And I'll show you him. I was very excited to paint Doctor Strange. I'm a huge fan of that movie, and I thought that was fun. Let's see here. I might as well bring all of them over. This is all the stuff I painted so far, which is a lot, but not enough. Oof. I think that's movement in the studio. Let's see here. I still have a good 6, 12, 15, 20 or more, more than that, 25 to paint in the main set. But let's see here. Let me get my ears plugged in. I can actually show you the fix I did on Squirrel Girl. But it went before you could grab it. Oh, it was a good deal too. Oh, Flamecraft. The minis are great. Here's the minis for those. And these were really easy to paint. These are the, I haven't put them back in the box yet. They're probably dry enough now. So there's still one more Flamecraft mini that I have not painted, that they were nice enough. The guys that did that game are located here near where we live. And so they brought them by. I was very happy. But these turned out really great. And you know, these were very quick. So I thinned out the contrast paint, like the purple and the blue, and painted on. Then I would do a little bit more on the scales. And they're great, really great. And they're not terribly expensive. It's maybe $20 or so for 5 minis. And there's like a promo one, I don't know, it's Kickstarter or whatever, but they gave me that one. And that was the reason why I didn't paint it, because people couldn't easily get it. But these turned out great, and they were really fast. Really fast, and they're really cute. So you know, the colors, I tried to match the colors. That's what they were doing on them. And they turned out really cool. Each one of them was a little bit different thing than I would try to do. And they look really good. And I saw some folks do them with standard acrylics, and they look great. You can really, I mean, you know, these are big, they're chibi-ish as well, right? So same idea. Let's see here if I have, there's Doctor Strange. Oops. Yeah, I actually saw pictures of, I don't know if I have it on the phone anymore. I saw pictures of that Galactus. I mean, I saw it, not pictures. I saw it at Gen Con in the cabinet, and it was painted, and it was gorgeous. So here's Doctor Strange. He's pretty cool. Again, he's kind of got a 5 o'clock shadow thing going on, but he's neat. And I tried to do a little bit of the glow, you know, the swirls of spell shields. But he turned out cool. I really like it. And then here's Squirrel Girl. So this ear is the right one. It stayed on. This one broke off. So I sculpted a piece of plastic, like a piece of sprue from one of the GW things, and then you know, just shaved it and did as close as I could. It's not the same ear. It's not identical, but whatever. Looks great. She's cool. I like the little teeny squirrel. She's a little dark too. This is one of the early ones I did. I was very excited to do it. I really like, so these are the two that I did the most like airbrush work. I did Hella, and I airbrushed the, you know, like the dust of her cape, let's say that it's dragging a little bit or whatever. She's awesome. And I also did the one I showed earlier, Dormammu. Where's he at? Did I put it over here? I probably did. I did. These two I did actually a lot more airbrush work on it than I normally do. Since his hair is like flame, I had like some OSL glow on his shoulders and on the ground, as you can see, which I just shot some color from one direction to give it some dimension. And you know, I painted these yellow, and then I hand painted these parts, but the outside edge I airbrushed with an orange and then a red, very lightly. I use my, yeah, I really love that airbrush, the Badger Sotar 2020. It's a very, like it's not a beginner airbrush, so, but I really liked how this turned out. It's neat. And then I hand did some stuff in the mouth and stuff like that. Can I sleep on your couch for a week until it gets to 30 degrees here? What is 30 degrees seems low. I can film 1-2 games a day with you guys. And editing, oh wow, that'd be awesome. It is, we were talking about, like, I had a dream where somebody needed to stay with us, and I was like, oh, because, you know, we used to have a couple friends stay with us. Our friend Vince, he was having troubles with his wife, and they, he was here for a couple years, a year and a half. And then our friends our friends Daryl and Maya, they were newly married, and they had some issues with they were staying with his mother until they were a little bit ready to financially get going where they wanted, and that didn't work out. And so they came over here and they stayed here for a little while. And it's fine, but I kind of like the not worrying about other folks thing. Although I suppose if somebody's really truly living with you, it's not the same as like somebody just staying with you. Well, let's do some black. I think I'm going to just do straight black. It's okay. Let's try this Black Legion. I've not used it yet. People have said great things about it. I think it's a different, I mean, I used it tiny, no editing, okay. I wish we could play that, do with no editing. Dormammu, I come to bargain. It's an awesome mini. I really like it. So I'm gonna have to paint that one again. I'm actually looking forward to seeing how if I can do it similarly. Once again, it's cool. It looks great. I like the shading. You know, it's gonna be cool. He's a villain, right? It's gonna look good on the table. Here's the thing that worries me is like, the reason why they're not in a box, and they should be, they're just gonna collect dust and things, is I'm nervous about them sticking to the box. Now, these were in here and they seem to be doing fine. I have the Ant-Man in here. I've been pulling them out because I've been looking at them lately. And they don't, I shouldn't worry about it, but I'm just a little stressed about it sticking. And I would really like to compress them a little bit. The crazy thing is you have to look at the little number on the bottom and then find where it goes. Might as well put them in here. I think I've varnished this one too. He is Iron Man. And then, let me see here. Where's she at? I might as well put him in. It's just I like pulling them out. She is number 3 right here. And then, what else do we got here? Captain America. And then the Red Skull. Wait a second, did I do 6 already? That looks like a 6. It's 5-6 though. What's 6-3? Huh. 3. This is crazy. I think that's Captain America. It sure looks like it. Oh, you know, the Red Skull is probably... No, that's... Oh, you know, I'm trying to put another Red Skull in. That is not for me. That is somebody else's. Oh, I know. My Ultron. Boy, I don't remember what all these are here. Oh, the Hulk. 4 and 8. Oh, that's going to be Taskmaster. So there you go. They fit in there pretty good. And the lid, which is right here, doesn't do it too much. I'm just paranoid about them like sticking. I don't really want, I mean, I've never really had that problem in modern paints, but older stuff I did. And maybe that was me not varnishing them or whatever. Anyway, there you go. So that holds them pretty good. Oh wait, there's the oh no, it's Spider-Geddon. I thought that was the X-Men one. X-Men one's behind me. Okay, black, I said. Where are you living, Gateway Gamer? Since it's 30 degrees. Yeah, we're okay. We complain, and Nikki and I are like, oh, it's so cold. I'm also just not one who likes to run the heater and things like that, but heater is okay. It's air conditioning that really drives me crazy. But the reality is they both probably dry me out. I just get such dry skin. Wouldn't that be great though to paint, to shoot episodes and not have to edit? That is the issue. We would love to. There's like these new AI tools with Premiere and one other one we use, but we don't actually use it for editing. DaVinci Resolve, and there's a way to like have it automatically cut based on who's talking, and that would be like Talking Head, which we don't do. Derek uses it for some stuff. I would love to be able to do that. We just don't have, come on, focus. We don't work like that, you know. I mean, our shots are 2 of us, and we're talking over each other, and you can't just do an automated cut. And we could just do the table down, but to me that it gets to be tiring. I mean, you know, I edited everything based to my ugh, boy, that is a problem. Spraying paint. I got it on a monitor over here, and I don't know how I did that, but I did it recently. I got to clean it off. I just edited the way I would like to see stuff like that, because, you know, part of the issue was we were trying to focus on, hey. Thanks for the follow. I am chitting. I don't know what is going on with the audio here. I know we are streaming both on YouTube and Twitch. Wow, this is a pretty cool black. But thanks for the follow. But yeah, I wanted it to edit it so that, you know, the people, you know, we weren't like looking to Nikki and I weren't looking to try to, you know, become personalities, but we knew you know, Dave is awesome. We've loved Dave, known him now for 20 years. And I wanted to feature those guys. Dave and Aaron are funny and a lot of fun to play with. I knew I wanted Aaron when we were talking about having who we would have on the show. And we didn't really know Aaron. We still don't know Aaron very well. We would play games late at night with him, and it was just fun. He was just too much fun. And so I knew I wanted to work with those guys if they wanted to do it. And, you know, that's really kind of where it comes from. We wanted to have some fun people. And we have a lot of great people. We will not be seeing Deborah for a little while. And you might be able to figure out what that means. we have a couple more episodes in the can with her and edited. But I'll save them because we won't have her back for a couple months. And then Gabby is away to taking care of her grandfather, which is a bummer. I love Gabby. She's really fun. Wow, I don't think I got enough red there. Okay, well, I better stop there. And then Aaron is busy. He's going to try to come over a couple times here in the next month and a half or so. He's on the election. He amazing, you know, he's a great educator. I mean, that's not what he does. He's a writer, but he's great at teaching. He and Dave are awesome. And so he's training people to run the election. And he's, you know, helping oversee all that stuff. He started doing that last year. And he had helped, like, he had done it like seasonal kind of work, you know, when we have the elections, and he started doing it full time. And I was thinking about it because he's training folks. I'm like, man, he has got to be really good. So we're not going to have a ton of air. It's rough. And then Rusty's job, everybody's having a tough time right now. Mike's job is crazy. So it's going to be hard. I think we're going to have a tough time getting 4 here, which I mean, I don't do editing. Okay. You can do all the editing you want. I know, but I'd love to shoot. Oh, you're in Delaware. Okay. I would love to shoot where we didn't have to edit, but it's just impossible. Actually, Nikki's going to start editing as well. We're going to get back to doing. We were supposed to shoot it this week, and I had troubles with stuff, so I couldn't do it. But we are going back to doing some date nights. That'll be another separate show. I'll still probably put them on the Game Night channel. I'm not channel, but playlist, because it's just it's too confusing, and I want people to know what we're doing. If we're going to do it, we want to. If people that want to see it, I want to know that I want them to know that it's there. Wow, that black is great. That is a great black. Holy cow. I wonder what's different about it. Like, I know that I love the Templar, Black Templar. I also really love the Basilicanum Gray. So yeah, we're gonna have a hard time, I think, getting 4. We have another friend that Dave knows well. I have met her many times, but we've talked about have her coming on the show, but I don't know what has happened. Like, I don't know her well enough, and so Dave is asking, which would be great. She's awesome. But yeah, it's gonna be a couple months here. We're definitely not gonna. I mean, I want to have as 4s when we can. We're definitely not gonna have 5. But the downer is I want to have Aaron do some other games with us. We have, we want to do Thunder Road. And I know he would have fun with that. Aaron loves car racing games. He and I were going to do, Gaslands. I mean, I want to do it, but he has just been busy. And he also, he helps out with his parents. They're getting older too, and he's helping them out, which is great. Like Dave, and I mean, I'm really happy that Gabby can help her grandfather. Her grandmother needs to leave, to go away to visit, I think, overseas. And so while she's gone for a couple months, she's going to take care of her grandfather. And I'm like, that's great that you can help him out. Because, you know, that's the scary part. I'm worried about, you know, we're close to my mom, so it's not going to be hard. But I'm just nervous, you know, Nikki's parents are getting older. Thankfully, they have each other and her brother. My brother does not live in the area anymore, so he won't be able to help us. Huh. I think that should be red as well. I didn't even see that. I've never really been to Delaware. I've been through Delaware, but I don't think we stopped. I'm trying to remember. I know Connecticut. This is all when I was younger. Really young. Connecticut, Massachusetts. I don't think we went to Rhode Island. I've been to Maine and Vermont. I want to go to New Hampshire. I might have been to New Hampshire, but I want to go to New Hampshire because friends of ours have a arcade that they are doing, and they have lots of great machines, and I'd love to go visit. I don't know if it's open, so I would tell you about it. Once it's open, I can tell you about it, because you could go. So using this black, it also looks like it's a single pigment, means there's not any shading. Like any shading I did is gone. And that's one of the reasons why I don't like using the blacks, is because, and I like this, the Basilicanum gray, it's a little bit more, you see the shading, but it also, for me, blacks are never solid black in the world, right? There's a lot of glare on them. And, oh, I didn't finish that around there. And that's one reason why I like the Basilicanum gray, because it to me, it's like what blacks, you know, you're never going to see. That's why, like, the black 2.0, I mean 3.0 and 4.0, they're not, you never see anything that black. It's very weird looking when you see it in real life, because it's super intensely dark with no reflections, and that just doesn't do it. But I will say this looks pretty neato. Wow, that looks cool. Oops, didn't get that foot around the foot there. But it is very black. So maybe I'll go back and do some shade, like lining, although I don't really know. I wished I'd seen that edge, because that I didn't even paint that red. It should be red too. That's okay. What I really need is somebody to paint minis with me. About Northeast Wisconsin being cold, I'm sure. I know Adam Smash, you know, Tabletop Minions, he lives in Wisconsin. He is at, everybody's, I wish I was going. I've just never, I've been to Games Day. GW used to do something called Games Days. I don't know if they do them anymore. They definitely don't do them in North America. We went to one, I don't remember if it was a single day. I mean, probably. But we went to the one in Ontario, 20. Thanks so much for the follow, Professor Problem. We went to the one at the Ontario Games Day, Nikki and I. She had never been to anything like that, and I hadn't either. And we had a really good time. To see, like, the fantastically painted minis up close was unreal. And Nikki was able to meet the designers of the Vampire Counts, and which she loved. And it was cool. I saw that they've introduced the old world, and they're not inexpensive. But everybody's getting worked up because I guess it's pretty steep. And then they're not even sure, you know, they weren't going to cover all the factions that they used to have. Because, you know, you can play them, but they won't let you play in tournaments. I don't know enough about 30,000 Warhammer 30,000 to know that if it's old, based on old rules. I don't think it is, but I could completely be wrong on it. It's just interesting. I like the look of those things, but I am not buying any of those minis. They've been doing that for a while, but I just don't want to have more stuff to work on. I mean, we were talking about today how much I have to paint. And I don't have to do any of it, but like, I've bought all these things because I want to paint them and maybe play. Originally from Philly. Through to get to Maryland. Yeah, I drove the East Coast once. You know, I've mostly been in California the bulk of my life. But we went to, I think we started in Boston. Or no, we started in DC. And what the deal was is my dad was working for a band. And my brother might have been doing stuff for them at that time. And I just went along for the fun for a little bit in college. And they were doing a East Coast tour. And so they rented a car in DC and then we returned it. So we went from DC to wherever the shows were. And then they rented a van and we drove the van back, and that was really fun, but it was very brief. And we went my uncle was living in DC at the time, so we went to visit him, and that was great. My cousin Jess was not born yet. Gosh dang, that was a long time ago then, because I think Jess is nearly 30 now. You can see her. We did a video with 2 videos with Jess. She's into board games too. But she did All Things Geek was something we were trying to do. And it was fun. Actually, Dave and I basically directed that and wrote it. He really wrote it, which was awesome. I really appreciated it. I didn't want him to have to be doing that. I actually wanted Jess to write. She is a capable writer. She used to review import Japanese video games, which was awesome, and that was why I was like, hey, would you be interested in doing this? This is 2011. And so she came, and we filmed that. It was great. I had really never spent that much time with her. She now lives in Australia. So, I don't get to see her. I just want that red to show through there. Wow, that black looks really, really great. It's very consistent there. I probably should quit here soon. I gotta call my mom. I call her every night to see how she's doing. Except on the weekends, because she's usually over here. She might be checking on me now. She checks in on the stream. So these brushes I've been using, these are Saks brushes. They're nice. But I'm developing a hook on them already. So I need to figure that out. I think I'm doing too much pokiness with this stuff. I do have some standard sable brushes, which are very nice. I don't have any of the long bristle ones, which I should be getting. I should get some from the Winsor Newton ones. I have some Series 7 smaller ones, and I like them a lot, but I have gotten to like the long bristles. I used to paint everything with the shorter bristles, and I feel I have more control. Well, number one, you get more paint in the brush with longer bristles, and that's important. Oops, I just got some on the red. Bummer. Cargo Trans Van start $50,000. Wow. So if you can get to it pretty quickly, you can take it off with a little bit of like a toothpick or something, or a brush. I do that all the time. Wow, $50,000 starting price. That seems pretty high. We've rented the Transits in Europe as a vehicle. One time it was Scott and Nikki and Michelle and I going from Prague to Germany. And we went to Berlin, which I'd never been to Berlin before, which was awesome. But we were driving that, and it was a huge van. We wanted just a van. We knew we've had rented cars before, but it was tight. And we were like, oh, let's get a van. We wanted a minivan, but they don't have those. And we get the van. It's huge. Very, very big. Like almost everybody could have a bench to lay on. I think you kind of could. And we, in the parking structure that we rented the van, I think from Sixt. Seems right, but I'm not sure. We told them it was Sixt because we were renting it in Prague and then dropping it off in Essen. And Scott and I went to go get it out of the parking structure, and let me do the red real quick and then I'll be done. And we get down there and we start to move it, and I'm like, I can't get this out of here. There's no way. So we went and went back to them like, hey, we can't get that out of there. You're gonna have to get it out. And so they were gone for like a half an hour, and they came back and I'm like, how did you do it? I mean, guys, I don't know, just lots of turns. And so we did drive it and went to Berlin, and then it was a stick, which thankfully I know how to drive a stick, but I wasn't really used to driving a big van, pretty big van with a stick on hills, and so I was a little nervous. But we did okay, and then we went to, I can't remember, I don't think we did Hamburg that trip. And then we went to Essen after that, and then dropped the van off. But that was a big van, way bigger than I was expecting. Oh, I got some on his black. Is that red there too? I think so. I think I messed up on, I got like to the other side and didn't finish it on this. Nikki, I'm going to be away starting next Thursday to Dallas for for a week. And Nikki was saying, well, I could stream. And she's like, oh no, I couldn't get everything going. Although she could, if Derek ran it, I could show her how to get everything going. It's a lot of stuff, so much gear to stream. And I was really having a problem with it today. The software that we use, it just was not letting me log in. And that is a pain. Hey, I didn't get that black painted. And it kept asking me to do, to verify the, darn it, red on his leg too. And it's like a tiny little window I can't really see, I'm not a robot. I had to keep doing it. I'm like, this is ridiculous. I can't see this. What are the crosswalks? What are the buses? What are the motorcycles? What are the bicycles? I kept struggling to see it and just get it done. Sometimes a hook will help me get into areas that I can't without touching the other part, but it's not great. I'm sad that this is already developing a hook. I used it a lot for the last week. I read somewhere that you can dip them in hot water and with the synthetic fibers or hairs, it will help straighten out. I might try that. It's okay. I have a lot of these brushes, probably 12, but I feel like I'm going through it too quickly. Well, there you go. That's what I will do for today. It's weird that this Gilman flesh is coming out so shiny. I wonder if there's something wrong with that paint. It could be getting towards the bottom. I don't think so though. I don't do that much with it. Let's see. Oh, it's still got a lot of paint. I don't know. I've heard about like some of the shades doing that, where some of them, like a lot of the stuff, not just GW, but like Army Painter, some of them are glossier than others, which is unfortunate. Because you want everything to be kind of similar. Because GW used to make glossy versions till just recently of some of their shades. Not let that rest on his spikes there. That's cool though. I still have to paint a lot of black lines. I probably won't do that on stream, so I can lean in there and do it without my head getting in the way. That's the biggest problem with that. But I think it'll look cool with the black webbing. Awesome. Well, cool. Let me cut to the other camera. So yeah, I'll paint again on Tuesday. I will paint, I'll continue with these remaining few that I have. I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There should be 2 more, 9, 10. Wait, let's do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So the only 2 left that I have besides this one are these 2. This one's a heavy one, actually. So I will probably do one of these next week, too, and I'll maybe finish this if there's more to do. I'm very excited about it. It looks cool. I like that there's some bricks underneath here, so I'll paint them brick-like. What was the one I was doing that had that? Oh, yeah. I like that one. Let's see here. The little brick on this one here is cool. Oops, can't see it. The brick one here. I don't know why I'm looking at that. But yeah. I like doing that stuff sometimes. I think a little bit of color on the base is okay. I just don't want it to distract too much from the miniature. So yeah, I'll be back on Tuesday at 10:30 Pacific Standard Time. And I will continue to paint. And then I'll be gone for a week. Nikki and I will what'll probably end up happening is we'll go back to game night, and then it'll be a couple weeks before I paint again. Although I may just, I keep threatening to try to do it on a Friday after Adam's done, because he's early. It's 10 o'clock Central Time, so 8 o'clock Pacific. he streams. I keep threatening to do it, but I keep running into problems with things I have to do. But I would like to and continue. I really want to get through. I'm focusing on these Spider-Man ones so I can get that done, and maybe we can actually just play that game. But I also just want to get through the rest. I have so many to paint. I mean, I didn't pull it out completely here, but let's cut to the other camera. You know, tons. There's a ton of painted ones here. Hey, he's laying down. Oh wait, some of the X-Men are here, because there's Xavier. Huh. But yeah, there's dust. Storm's getting dusty, and that has varnish on it, so I need to look at it. Anyway, that's a lot of stuff. And then there's some that I've started painting in Germany. I haven't even gotten back to them in a long time. I like this Spider-Man though, it's cool. Anywho, I need to start putting these back into the storage because I don't want them falling. I need to actually have more room to put things on here like active stuff and move them off of the desk. Anyway, let's cut back. Everybody take care, have a great weekend. Let me see if there's somebody to raid. It is getting kind of late. It's close to 8, isn't it? It's almost exactly 8. Let me go to this. Am I not running it? I thought I was on that. Video producer, creator dashboard. I think that's what the deal was. So, stream manager. Let's see who we can raid. I wonder if they'll change that. Challenge you follow. Hey, Bonds. Let's raid Bonds. Oh, Bafoob. What's Dafoob doing? Art? What was Bonds doing tonight? Oh, she was with James Hudson. I don't want to join. You guys should watch that one. They were looking at some of James's games. Let's go to Dafoob. If you want to join in on Twitch, you surely can. Unfortunately, the YouTube folks can't, but thanks for joining me. I'm really happy that we have the YouTube audience. Many people are saying they haven't had an opportunity to see it, didn't know we streamed, and so it's been great that we've been doing that as well, even though we seem to have a little bit of technical issues. Anyway, you guys have a great weekend, and as I say, if you can on the Twitch, join in on the raid and say hello for me if you would. And let's see if it'll go. Ready to raid in 2 seconds. Okay, everybody, take care. Bye-bye. And bye to you YouTube folks, too, now. Let's see if I can get that going here. Goodness gracious. I don't know what I'm doing on this. It's vMix. There we go. Cool. Take care, everybody. Have a great one. Thanks for joining me.